That'll reduce the unhappiness by a significant amount. Organized religion also leads to Reformation. It's an instant 6-turn golden age. What's not to like about that? And once you got Reformation and Mandate of Heaven, you move on to free religion, which is 2 free policies. Same thing. I mean, that's just also a very good bonus. Both of those, Reformation and free religion, you can kind of keep, as aces up your sleeve, and you just unleash them when you want, when you need them. That can be very, very powerful. It can save you, just make you rush that wonder just a little faster, or get a couple of branches unlocked really quickly. If you wait to get free religion, for example, until you reach the industrial era, you could get either autocracy and order, or unlock one of those and then get the first policy really quickly. Those are order and autocracy are 2 very powerful branches in the late game. So that's Piety. Piety's good. It's a good branch. Then we move to Patronage, focused on city-states. I love Patronage since I love to play the city-state game. It's a very good track. The bonus for just unlocking the branch is that the influence with city-states degrades 25% slower than normal. So usually you lose 1 influence point per turn, and with Patronage unlocked, you lose 0.75, and this stacks with Hellenic League, the bonus that the Greeks get, which I think makes it so you lose 0.37 influence per turn, which is ridiculous. It's like almost 3 times, 3 times as less than usual. So Patronage becomes active during the medieval era. The first policy over here is philanthropy. 25% more influence when you gift gold to city-state. That's good, nothing to complain about. Which leads to scholasticism. All city-states, which are allies, not friends, allies, provide a science bonus equal to 33% of what they produce for themselves. It's not a huge science bonus, but if you have a very small empire, your science is going to suffer, and that's going to kind of help you, kind of shore you up. So if you have a very large empire, you probably don't need the bonus from scholasticism. If you've got a small one, you need to boost your research as much as possible. Get rationalism, but then you can also get scholasticism to hold you much earlier. The other policy here is aesthetics. Minimum influence level with all city-states is 20. That's kind of good. The earlier you get this, the better it is, because it's like getting some permanent influence with all city-states. I'm not sure. I don't think it prevents you from... it doesn't prevent you from being at war. And I'm not sure if it has any effect on when your influence is negative. If you just make peace with a city-state, I don't know if your influence jumps right back up to 20, or if it stays at whatever it was and has to climb back up to 20. I'm not sure. But it's, if you're playing the city-states, that's a decent policy, and you need it to reach an educated elite. A great policy. City-states occasionally gift you great people. It's very useful. It's the same thing as what the militaristic city-states will do, is that from time to time they'll just gift you a unit, and the unit appears in their territory and it's yours and you can control it. Except this time it's for all city-states and it's great people. If you are playing a cultural victory and you just need all the great people that you can get, this is an amazing policy. I love it. And over here is cultural diplomacy. The quantity of resources gifted by city-states increased by 100%, and the happiness from gifted luxuries is increased by 50%. Very, very good. This is better if you have a large empire. You'll get more happiness. You'll get more strategic and luxury resources from city-states. Very, very good policies. I love patronage. It's probably one of my favorite policy branches. Next, the other policy track that's unlocked in the medieval era is commerce. And adopting commerce will boost gold output in your capital by 25%. That's okay. That's not bad. It's not a huge amount of gold, but it's decent. And commerce is separated into, you'll see there's like 2 lines. The left one is concerned with sea units, and the right one is concerned with the cash. So over here we have naval tradition, +1 movement and +1 side for naval combat units. Can be useful if you're on an archipelago map, otherwise meh. And this leads to merchant navy, +3 production in all coastal cities. Same thing, kind of good. Not 3 production is not a huge amount, but this is before bonuses and all that, so it gets multiplied. It adds up to a lot more production than what it looks like. It's not a terrible bonus. On this side, you get trade units. Maintenance paid on roads and railroads reduced by 20%. If you have a large empire and a lot of roads, this will save you some gold, which leads to mercantilism. Purchasing items in cities requires 25% less gold. You can stack this with, I believe, is it the Pentagon? There's another one there that does the same thing. So you can get something insane like 75% less gold for purchasing items in your cities. It's a lot of gold saved. And this leads finally to protectionism, +1 happiness for each luxury resource. That is huge. I mean, protectionism is kind of the reason why you would go commerce at all. I mean, if you're on the sea map, naval tradition, merchant navy can be useful, but this is the big bastard of the commerce tree. It's just so much happiness you get. I believe, how much is it? If you have all luxury resources, I believe you get 75 happiness. So that would give you like an extra 15 happiness in total. And then, if you have all the luxury resources, you can turn around and sell them if you already have too many happiness. If you have too much happiness in your empire and you can spare some, you can just sell the extra resources, even if you only have one of them, for more gold. Which is, it's a very good policy. Then we move over to rationalism, the first of the 2 policy tracks that becomes active in the Renaissance era, the other one being freedom. The bonus for unlocking rationalism is a 5-turn golden age. Nothing much about it. If you need a quick golden age, and you can either get Reformation here for 6 turns, or get rationalism here for 5 turns. It looks a little bit like commerce. There's 2 main branches here. On the right here you get humanism, +1 happiness from every university. That's okay. And it leads to sovereignty, +15% science while the empire is happy. Very good policy if you're trying to, if you're going for a if you're going for a space race or a diplomatic victory, you need to climb the tech tree as fast as possible to get either the Apollo project out or the United Nations out. That's a really, really good bonus. Or if you're playing a cultural victory and your empire is small and you need to boost it, that's extra science for you. You can use it. On the left side here, the first policy, secularism, +2 science from every specialist. That's okay. It won't be a huge amount of science. It'll kind of be like scholasticism. It's a small boost. It's not huge. It leads, though, to free thought, +2 science from every trading post. If you're kind of planning ahead and knowing that you want to go for a victory that's going to require a lot of science, you can build a lot of trading posts, get a lot of gold, get patronage, get a lot of influence with other city-states, get scholasticism, and then once you have all those trading posts and you get rationalism unlocked, you scramble to free thought. You get that, you're going to get a lot of science. If every city has like, I don't know, 10 trading posts in its radius, and it doesn't have to be from a worked trading post, I believe. Just as long as you have a trading post in a city, in a city's radius, or even just within your empire, maybe, you get the plus science. Maybe it's worked. I don't know. I'll have to test it later. But, free thought is a really, really good policy, and it leads to scientific revolution, 2 free technologies, kind of the counterpoint to free religion here, which is 2 free policies. Here it's 2 free technologies. What's not to like about that? If you're climbing the tech tree as fast as possible and you need all the technologies you can get, that's the best policy for you. Freedom over here is a policy branch that's focused on culture. It's, as the description says, it's best for small, focused empire, i.e. people going for cultural victories. So it focuses on culture and specialists, and when you're adopting freedom, as soon as you've unlocked it, the specialist population in cities produces half the normal amount of unhappiness. It's not bad, but if you've got a small empire, you're not going to be hurting for, you're not going to have unhappiness problems anyway. It's not a big unlocking bonus. The individual policies, those are kind of good. You get universal suffrage, combat strength of cities increased by 33%. That's extra protection. It's not bad. On the left here, you get constitution, culture increased by 100% in all cities which have built a world wonder. Very good policy. Very, very good, since you should have one there, at least one in each of your cities if you're going for a cultural victory. Very, very good policy, and that leads to free speech. The culture cost of future policies reduced by 25%. Stacking this with Cristo Redentor, which is the world wonder, does the same thing, but it's 33%, I believe. You are going to get those policies out very fast, and you are going to reach your goal much faster with this policy. I mean, these two right there are almost the whole reason to go freedom, because they are designed to help you get that cultural victory faster. On this side, you get civil society. Specialists consume only half the normal amount of food, so that lets your cities grow a little faster, get a little bigger. It's okay. And it leads to democracy. The rate at which great people are born is increased by 50%. Also a very, very good policy. You do want to get as many great people as possible when you're playing for a cultural victory, because they let you get golden ages, which give you bonus gold and give you bonus production, and you can use them to get a variety of effects. Democracy is a very good policy. So freedom overall, if you're going for cultural victory, it's the best. If you're not, you can still get some nice bonuses from here. Nothing earth-shattering though if you're not going for a cultural victory. And then the last two policy tracks, autocracy and order, both unlocked in the industrial era. Autocracy is kind of the late game version of honor, but it's not mutually exclusive. So you can get honor and then move on to unlock autocracy, and they are not exclusive. The bonus for getting autocracy is that it reduces the unit gold maintenance costs by 33%. Every time you make a new unit that costs you gold to keep it in the field, this reduces it. It means more gold in your pockets, which means eventually more units upgrades. That's a good bonus. Now over here, the first policy is populism. Wounded military units inflict 25% more damage than normal. It's the same thing as the Russian Cossack. It's a pretty good civ, because most of the time other units are going to be wounded, or you can just make them wounded by attacking them with a ranged unit first and then going in for the kill with a melee unit. So that's a good policy. On the right here, you get militarism. The gold cost of purchasing units is reduced by 33%. Again, very good. If you get a new tech that unlocks a bunch of new higher tech units for you, you can upgrade your units. And then you can purchase some more for cheaper here. The next one here, fascism. Quantity of strategic resources produced by the Empire increased by 100%. This is, keep in mind, this is produced by the Empire, so if you get your oil from someone else, I don't believe fascism will affect it. It does have to be within your territory, but hopefully if you're playing an aggressive, militaristic type of game, you should have a very large territory, you should have a lot of resources. So this is a good policy. It means you can essentially get more units that require strategic resources on the field, and you always want more units if you're, playing as the butcher. On the right here, you get police state. Unhappiness in occupied cities reduced by 50%. This is kind of an okay policy. If you are going for a very, very large empire, you probably want to create puppet cities more than annex them. So it's not a terrible bonus. You could probably create puppets and then work your way to police state, and then once you get police state, then you can annex the puppets and not get a huge unhappiness hit. So it's an okay policy. But then both of those, fascism and police state, eventually lead to total war. For 20 turns, all military units receive a 33% attack bonus. When you finally meet that other civ that's been building up since the beginning, and that's been kind of a thorn in your side for the whole time, you unlock Total War and you go to town on them. By that point, 33% is huge. it will let you, assuming you're on an equal tech level, it will let you crush the other guy. It's a significant advantage.